Hello, everyone. There we go. Hello, everyone. So this is titled a GPMS special. GPMS stands for the Global People's Monetary System and Simplified Divine Law. What GPMS is the full deliverance for humanity from the old paradigm, the old societal structures. And mainly what GPMS is, what it does, it sets every person upon the planet financially free and not controlled by the old ways of money. Not only does it set everyone free of financial worry or stress ever again, it also recognizes and enacts your full unalienable rights. So this is very important. It is what some consider your God-given rights that you are born with, and among those rights are your abilities to choose. Every human has these rights. It cannot be taken away. It cannot be given. They are intrinsic. They are your rights. They are concrete and they are absolute. So what GPMS is doing currently is gathering the worldwide votes, the consents, the accords, the agreements of every individual upon the planet that wants the new reality, what is contained within GPMS. With these votes that we are collecting, they are also collected even from a child that is 1 minute old. So if you are the parents or the guardians of a child, you can register their votes, their consent for them. Every vote counts, from a 1 minute-year-old child to a 156-year-old human being. Every vote counts onto this. So what we are doing, it's a worldwide vote to want the new reality of GPMS. So it's your ultimate financial freedom and your rights and so much more contained within it. So to do this, everyone knows about voting practices and how the majority decides. So having said this, everyone is actually around the world voting on this GPMS reality. And because it is all inclusive and contains everything that everyone would desire in their daily living, in their existence, in their freedoms, and much more, the majority of the planet at some point in the very near future are going to vote for this. So this is an ongoing vote. We are collecting the votes here, and we are spreading the awareness around the world that this is an ongoing vote, and everyone can vote for it. So once we have the votes, if you will, collected that represent a majority of the planet, then everything with GPMS is implemented. And nothing can stop this. No governments, no darkness, no elites. They are all disempowered by this majority voice once it's created. So having said this, you do not need their money. You do not need their restrictive rules. You do not need their complex systems, the complexity of it. So this is the full deliverance. If you wish to use a biblical word, even a religious word, it doesn't matter what you label it. This is the full deliverance for humanity, is what it is. And I am just only one of the guardians that are upon the planet to assure that this comes to full fruition and gets implemented. So there is no doubt with this. For the very reason I am sitting here today speaking to everyone live, and this video should go viral around the planet, for the very reason I am doing this, what is, let's say, controversial to everything in the past, is because we cannot be stopped. This is a divine thing as well. It's divinely written for humanity to go forward. So what is occurring? Each one has to choose it, materially choose it, and register your vote to create the voice. So this is why it's inevitable, it's imminent. And we can also say it's instantaneous. And it is instantaneous because, again, as soon as humanity becomes aware of this full freedom choice, in the blink of an eye, this can occur, and it will occur. So, having said that, you got a general sense of what it is about. So what it does, it wipes out instantly poverty worldwide. This is what it does. So how it does that? Well, with GPMS, once the majority decide, what we do is we create money that is unlimited, just with your fingers, into digital accounts. This is the same way that governments and the elites, if you will, and the bankers today, how they create money. They just create what they want, and they only allow you to have what they want you to have. What we are doing with the majority voice, which is the 99%, we are saying no more. Enough is enough. And the people are creating the money and sharing it with each other worldwide. And there's no limit to the money that we can create and that we are creating. So having said this, to begin, we have to keep a slight control factor on it, meaning that upon implementation and inception, where every man, woman, and child receives the first initial payment of an approximate equivalent to 12,000 US dollars, there's also a requirement of approximately 10, 20 hours work for the month. And this is important to keep at least a little bit of control and condition upon it, so that all of humanity, when they receive the first money, just stops everything and everyone goes on vacation. So this is ascertained that this does not occur by implementing these conditions, slight conditions, if you will, into the process to maintain an order. Because GPMS is all about humanity thriving and going forward as an advanced civilization. What you have now and what you had in the past was not an advanced civilization. It was meant to be kept into the stagnant loop. The looping, like going to work, earning money, paying taxes back to the government, go back out, work again, and go back to paying taxes, always keeping everyone looping with no advancement forward. So what GPMS does, it breaks that loop of control. It takes you out of the conditioning, out of the robotics, and it sets you actually free. So one of the reasons why that you only need to work, let's say, 10 hours a month in the future, is because there are so many non-essential jobs that are out there. One of the things with the financial sector, what is going to occur is that entire financial sector industry, which is the biggest employer upon the planet, it's no longer going to be needed. So with this, you have accountants that are no longer going to be needed. GPMS is a full, free-flow system that does not need any record-keeping or any accounting per se, because there is no such thing as debts and balances and checks in it. It is full, free funding. So what we are doing, why it's full, free funding, is we have flipped the tables on the darkness. They use the money for control and for evil. What we are doing is using the money for good and liberation, which sets everyone free. And what occurs in the future after this is implemented is that humanity also comes to a state where they realize they do not need money at all. So what we are doing is fully humane by putting the value back into the person instead of the value on the money. Examples of how the savage world did this by putting value on the money, other than the people. I'll use the U.S. healthcare system, if you will. If you don't have money there to pay, if you need some health assistance, or let's go to Africa, that's a better way. You need money there in places before a doctor will even look at you. The principle of this, how inhumane and savage is that someone chooses money over the individual at assisting them? How nonsensical is that in this age? So the value from the money is being taken from being that old way, and the value is going to be placed on the individual. And by doing this, then humanity becomes humane, unsavage, and you could even say more civilized. So it is not acceptable in this world with 15 to 20,000 children dying daily of starvation around the world. This planet is the most abundant planet with enough food to feed 10 times the entire population, what is on here, and even more with the new technologies. So these things are not acceptable, that governments and banks allow people to die because of the control of money and the depriving ones of what is supposed to be guaranteed in all of their constitutions, the right to sustenance and to live and to exist freely. So having said this, all constitutions worldwide are not even worth the paper that they were written on. All of your international laws, all of your legal system is all null and void. It is not worth the paper that it is written on. So all of these pages from the old book are being torn out, thrown away, and the slate wiped clean like that, because we are starting anew and we are doing what is humane. We are doing what is morally and ethically correct with GPMS, and it's involving all of the people to live in harmony, love, and abundance and freedom. So it's all inclusive, and it's important that every one of you that this resonates with, if you want this new world, to don't hesitate. Get your consent, get your vote in there today, at this very moment, and all of your children. Let's just say if 2 billion within the next 2 days were to cast their vote and their agreement, their accord to support GPMS for humanity, very quickly we would all be in places of comfort. Now, contained within the voice is all the knowledge to take this forward, and also the administration to take it forward. So everything is actually already here to take GPMS forward, and it's already here to make the reality of GPMS occur within a couple days. I've said this before, I will reiterate, that if the banks and the governments worldwide actually had humanity's best interests in mind, what we are doing with GPMS, they could have did it for the world in about 2 days. And it becomes very clear when you see 15 to 20,000 children dying each day of starvation, that the world leaders and the banks do not have humanity's best interest in mind, where the solution, which is GPMS, is so simple. You don't need a rocket scientist to figure it out. So yes, there's underlying agendas and attempt at control, but we don't need to look at the problems any longer. The problems, the truth is prevalent out there everywhere. We are in this great time of the revelations where everything is exposed. And all of you watching this know this. Billions worldwide know this. So why focus any longer on the problems when we have the full solution? It's so easy for everyone to just get your votes, unite all together as one voice, and we just create the new reality altogether. And yes, it is that simple, because within the voice is all of the know-how, all of the knowledge, all of the skill sets to transition the worldwide society in the blink of an eye. It's all there. All of you know that. It's in your heart, the morals and ethics and what to do. You know by all of your past experiences what you don't want in life. So we don't need to focus on that. You already know. Now you need to focus on what you want as your reality. And what you will want and what you do want is the GPMS all-inclusive reality. So it's very important. Don't hesitate. Get on the website, get your vote counted, and you can watch daily as the vote as the consents, as the agreements become bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is showing you that this is the path towards that reality, how close we get. So each one needs to play a part in sharing this message and everything with GPMS. And having said that, what I'm going to do is give you, let's say, so you're voting. So this means there must be some sort of a platform what you are voting for. So what I'm going to do is the comparison page on GPMS. It's the comparison, old versus new. I'm just going to quickly go down that page once again and just show you what you are voting for. So I'm going to compare what you have now and what you are voting for your new world. And this will assist you in quickly making a choice. And what I also need to say is that everyone has a choice. Nothing can stop you from utilizing your right to choose, to come together as a people, to assemble worldwide. Nothing can stop this. So, quickly, Let's do this. Rick always says quickly, but he rambles on. Okay, so, and anyone can join me. You can go on to gpms.world and click on the tab at the top of the home page that says compare old versus new. So this page should be viewed as the platform, and it's not all inclusive. There's other articles and provisions, if you will, that we could include in this, but I believe we have 56 here, just as a good sense for anyone why this is most logical and most common sense to choose this now. Do not hesitate. So I'll begin. So number one, the old choice. What you have now, so everything you have now from the old, in the new, you keep it. All of your financial wealth that you may have accumulated that is, let's say, what is the word? That is lawful and that was accumulated honestly. You keep all of that in the new. Your existing money is transitioned equally at par into the new. So you don't lose any of your existing wealth. You actually gain just so much more with this. Taxes. There is no use for any taxes, and they do not exist whatsoever in this new world you are voting for. There's no use for taxes. We just keep creating money. You don't need to be in the looping at working, paying taxes, and these illusions at funding something that is actually your enemy. So you don't need taxes. There are no taxes anymore in this new reality. Debt. What you think is debt is just an illusion. There is no debt in this future. There is no one that actually owes any kind of a debt or owes anyone or anything. It's free flow of money. So there's no debt. There are no mortgages in the future. There are no car payments. None of this. But also, as part of the GPMS, upon implementation, every family gets a free vehicle. Every family, a free home, or at least a place to live that is free, that you don't need to pay for. It is your right to have this. Every person born on this planet is a shareholder of the entire infrastructure of the planet. You all contributed in some way in the past. Even a 1 second old child has already contributed to the planet, and they are a rightful shareholder. And you are showing this through, let's say, some of the old economic policies and equations where today, when a child is born into the U.S. because of the debt, there is, I believe, a $67,000 what is the word? A $67,000 bill is stamped onto their name because they participate in the U.S. economy, which is trillions in debt. Now look at that concept. How ridiculous is that? With an innocent 1 second-year-old child brought into the world and poof, a $67,000 debt just because they exist. These things are not acceptable, and they're absolutely savage, they're insane, and they are inhumane. So no more of this. And there is no more debt. It's an illusion. And again, who does all the world owe this debt to? Like, it's absolutely preposterous. Do you owe it to Mars or what? What use does debt have? What function? The only function that debt has is causing stress and control upon humanity intentionally. So it is a very frivolous, ridiculous concept that does not go into the new. So loans and mortgages. There are none. You do not need any loans. You are the intrinsic value that creates the value from within. And when you have the majority doing this, there is no loans. There is no mortgages. There is no need for that complex financial structure. Now, upon inception, all attachments to the old are quickly settled, rapidly settled. There is a little bit with, let's say, if you have a vehicle let's say if you have a vehicle that you're making payments on, upon inception, what occurs is that old debt, if it's a legitimate car dealer that sold you the car or what have you, that debt is instantly settled. But they receive the money to bring them up to par for what you could call a reset of the reality. And that money is rightfully theirs from the old, but it's not paid directly from you. It's paid from the funding, to keep it sort of simple with that. So any past mortgages on anything, including homes, the slate is wiped clean, more or less, is how to say it. Because these things, mortgages, loans, debt, do not exist in this reality. So this is what you're voting for as well worldwide. In the past, you worried about having enough money. You never need to worry about money again. This is full funding, full flow money that is created from your intrinsic value. So it is always there for as long as you need it, and it grows for as long as you need it, instantly. So with this, you do not need to stress about saving retirement funds, saving for your children's college, and these sort of things, because even college does not exist in the future with GPMS, and I'll get to a little bit of schooling as I go down here. But the thing is, you never need to worry about money again, because it's always there, and it's used as a good tool for everyone to become comfortable and to thrive and to be happy and blissful in this world with no stress. Now, having said this, you can see that worldwide, by eliminating that old stress factor of the control of money that kept humanity suppressed and going in circles, always being the slave, as you can see with GPMS, it eliminates all that. What this does is cause the quantum consciousness shift forward. And the beauty of GPMS is that everyone that sees it and wishes to vote are a part of it. So you don't need to be an fully awakened or ascended master or whatever to realize that it is your freedom, it is your deliverance, and you never need to worry about money again. So, as I said, now you may not have a vehicle or a home. With the new, you have a vehicle and a home that is free. You work, let's say some of you are working long hours now to survive. As I explained before, hours are quickly reduced to a fraction. You no longer need to work to survive like you did. Yes, you still need to contribute to the worldwide community, but it is a fraction of ours. And the reason why it's a fraction of ours is that what I spoke about earlier, you eliminate all of that financial sector, which is not designed to take humanity forward, and it's actually a burden. So when you have all of these that no longer need the jobs in the financial sector, in the financial markets, there is no trading, all of these brokers, what you have is that jobs that they had is no longer there. It's no longer essential. So then you have the ones coming out of, let's say, the financial sector, the military sectors, the government sectors. Then everyone shares in the workload, and this is what makes everyone just with a fraction of hours is all that they need to contribute. So you can see how very quickly that makes absolute sense. So when you get rid of all the frivolous, trivial jobs that are not advancing humanity forward, like the financial sector and the military, there's no war, there's only peace there in the future, so no one needs any military. No one needs any form of defense. That is a fear mechanism that does not exist in the very near future. So what you have is a lot to share in the essentials, at growing foods, making some clothes, in the manufacturing by increasing the manufacturing capacity, at creating the technology, the robots that advance humanity forward, and even lessen more of the workload. And believe me, most of the technology is right on the planet right now to lessen that workload once it's released, and that's another story I won't get into. However, what you can look at is, one example is the 3D printers that is already here, that technology, and it is doing so many amazing things and very rapidly. And one of the things it does is make little homes very quickly. So just so much amazing technology already here, more technology to be released, and more coming. So everything is beautiful in that respect, and it also cuts down, contributes to the lessening of the workload by each. So your present job, you do not like, that you're forced into having in this new world, you get to choose how you contribute your hours of work. So you're doing something that, yes, is productive in a way that's advancing humanity forward. And everyone would love to do the work they love to do. They're all contributing to the new freedom, free and abundant reality. So you get to choose. You no longer got to do dirty jobs, work 2 or 3 jobs. So this is for you, but also the homeless people on the street. In the U.S. Alone, I believe there's millions of homeless in the U.S. on the streets. Instantly, all of these are lifted out of poverty if they choose. They're given a free place to stay, a free vehicle, and the comfort money as well to keep them going forward into a more meaningful existence and life upon the planet. So they are liberated, and they're actually in a heaven on earth scenario. Okay, what else we got here? Yeah, so now what you have is limited basic needs. You also see the government throwing out, we may implement some basic incomes. None of that ever works, and it is limited. So with the new, we don't even need to look at that. You have everything you require to live comfortably. The initial payment that comes to everyone is equivalent of approximately 12,000 US dollar, or at the time of inception, the most valuable currency is what the new world currency of the people will be. It will be on par with the strongest or above. So everything gets transitioned into the one people's currency worldwide. And having said that, we look at a figure of about 12,000, because what that does, it places everyone with what used to be basic needs. It gives them the money instantly to get what they need, to get clothes, to get food, whatever they may need to be, to put them in a comfortable, stress-free, instantly relaxed position as we continue to take things forward. So what we are doing is placing everyone in instant, immediate abundance upon the implementation, the inception of the first payments. So very quickly, worldwide, it relieves the stress. You see everyone smiling and happy and laughing and loving, and especially all the children, to know that they're free, that they're not condemned to 20 years of indoctrination in a school and accumulating debt, and then they got to get out and work for 40 years and their life gone. And finally, when they have been financially successful, they find that they're sick or unable to enjoy themselves. That life is all gone, and none of you are condemning your children any longer to that sort of future. The future for the children is for them to decide and what they wish to learn. Yes, they are tutored and guided by their parents with the essentials that they need to know, perhaps to exist and to flourish as well. But all of the, let's say, college degrees, university degrees, all of these things are written on paper. One doesn't need to have any certification of their skills. That is primitive and ridiculous and obsolete as well. So you do not have this in the future, and it is not required. Part of getting degrees, diplomas, certificates was to keep you attached to that old complex system and to create jobs. The ones that would print the certificates, that was a job. The ones that would sign them, that was a job. All of these sort of things are frivolous jobs. They're non-essential jobs, and they're not part of the future. Things do not need to be that complicated at all. This is why, again, GPMS is so simplistic, and it's all inclusive, and it's a full deliverance out of the enslaved system that all of us were currently in. Poverty. Poverty is what you have now worldwide. Even as a result of the last few years, you've had what you call the middle class, just fully defunded. So the poverty upon the planet is widespread because of that old control of money. But again, the solution with GPMS, everyone is happy, and there is no poverty. And poverty is erased instantly upon inception. When we get the majority of the people worldwide, then that is when inception occurs. So get the word out, get it out there. Like, this is the best thing that has ever happened to humanity. So what we intend to do, and of course this is with the people. I am a guardian, as I said before, and there's other guardians with this taking it forward. And as we go forward, more guardians are coming in as they choose and assisting with this. So this is not an ad hoc or whatever you wish to call it. It is not an illusion. It's not something delusional. It's not a fantasy. It's not fiction. This is the reality. This is how simple it is, and this is what's occurring. So there is nothing stops this. It is inevitable. And as we said, everyone upon the planet contributes to this new world we are creating all together. And it's done together with unity. Yes, there are guardians to assure everything gets done. There's administrative councils, if you will, but these will be limited for the people within you. Everyone knows simply what needs to be done, so it's not complicated. You don't need all these big governing enterprises, if you will, controlling everything. Wages. So you have wages now. Wages become irrelevant in the future and are rapidly phased out with this. Because let's say if you're working, let's say you're working on a farm now, and that you're getting wages from the employer, from the head farmer. You no longer need those wages because you have activated your own value, your own money, which is coming in. Your work on the farm then counts as the few hours that you need to contribute to the entire worldwide community. And what this also does, because of this, where wages are eliminated, because each one has their intrinsic value at creating their own money, then it gets reflected in all of your prices worldwide. So what you begin to witness is a rapid deflation, because one part of what was included in your price indexing and in your retail sales was wages. But where that's no longer there, poof, instantly the prices of your goods dropped in this transitional period after inception. And with this, not only is there worldwide rapid deflation because there are no wages to be paid, also you need to add into the deflationary process where there are no more fees, there are no more trading fees, there are no more tariffs. That has been eliminated. That drops the price a little bit further on goods and services. Also, where at the time of inception, not only is every man, woman, and child given a 12,000 approximate equivalent US dollar payment, at the same time, all essential goods and services worldwide are fully funded from the same money that we create altogether. And out of this is all of your fuel that you are paying for now. It becomes free because you are an owner, you are a shareholder of that. And where fuel becomes free, out of your transportation costs, as well as transportation, trucking, where that all becomes free, poof, you have more deflation yet. So you can see how rapidly all of these inclusive costs that were put into your pricing, into your goods and services, are rapidly being eliminated. So this causes worldwide deflation. And this is also why we have in number 12, on the comparison page on the website where I'm at now, this is also why we have $12,000 approximate the first month, but then $6,000 per month thereafter. The reason that quick drop from 12,000 to 6,000 is because very quickly you're going to see that your cost of living has dropped dramatically and substantially, meaning that, yeah, you don't need the money that you needed before. So, how are we doing here? I'll just do a check. Yeah, thanks, Bonnie. I'll keep going. So everything looks good. How am I so far? Bonnie, if you're there, or someone, can you just please let me know if this is streaming still good? Thank you. Or anyone, for that matter. Are we still streaming good? Anyone? Thank you. Well, I believe so, so I'll go back to speaking. Okay, great. Thank you all. Okay. So I'm on a comparison between what you have now and what you can have in a few months. I'm on that page on GPMS World. .world on our website. So I'm at number 12, but I've been speaking to others, other items as I went along. So number 12, no, let's go number 13. No, we did that. Existing wealth honored into a new system. Did that. Just scroll a little bit more here. So with your existing monetary wealth at the time of inception, so if you have, let's say, money in investments and funds, if it is still there at this time, what occurs, it's redeemed out of these markets because financial markets, investment vehicles will no longer exist, savings accounts. So everything will be transitioned and redeemed at par, into the new one people's money. So it's all honored into the new system, but any ill-gotten gains, if you will, that it is very blatant that they're not honest gains, will not be implemented into the new system if these gains had caused any physical or human harm to people. And I'll just keep that a little bit vague, but each one of you, I don't need to expand upon that. But meaning that it's not let's say, just criminals that they can, let's say if you have well, you know what I mean, if you have a criminal that has done something, money from the old by being malevolent has made them rich, no way is that going into the new system, if you will. It's not honored in there. Okay, next one. Yeah, no stock markets in the future. No, you don't need any of the Bitcoin, all the trading. No one needs that. You can go out and have fun. And whatever cryptos exist at the time of inception, all that legitimate tokens, if you will, is honored into the new system as the one currency. So what we're having is the one worldwide currency that is the dominant currency of the people. The people own it, and it is unlimited, unrestricted. Because it's based on the intrinsic value of the individual that gives the choice of the individual to say, I am worth unlimited money. Instead of, let's look at Thailand for a minute with what they did with the compensatory payouts from adverse vaccine effects. What they were doing in Thailand, the government was paying out, I believe it was around 14,000 US dollars if someone died from an adverse vaccine effect. Now with this, so what they did is they valued each human's life in Thailand at $14,000. That's what someone decided that a human life in Thailand was worth. Like, how sick is that? But you see what they did. They took away the value of the individual, which is unlimited. And if you use that same sort of analogy, if you look in the US, to my knowledge, with an article I wrote the other day, no one has got paid anything yet, which means zero. So if you look at how much do they value a US life at, it's zero right at this point. Like, how absurd and ridiculous is that? So in the future, everyone has intrinsic, full-flowing value. They are not valued or dictated by someone else what they are worth. They are worth everything. So again, we put the value back into the individual, and you shake off all of those enslavement chains that the society and the governments and banks had put on you. We are the 99%. We are the people. We are the majority. The less than 1% is the governments and the banks and the oligarchs that attempted to dictate how the 99% should live and exist by taking all their rights from them. However, this less than 1% is on its way out the door right now. So be wise, know you have a vote, you have a choice, and get it registered here with GPMS right now, is what I strongly suggest, and all of your children included. Now, so I'm just scrolling. There's, as I said, there's about 56 particulars or articles on here, just to give ones an idea of what you are voting for to make it easier. Okay, so what you have now in this reality is a profit and loss. There is no profit. There is in this GPMS future, there's no reason to profit, if you will. There's unlimited gain by everyone through the sharing. There is no loss in this GPMS reality. Now I put fines. There are no monetary nor material fines in this future. They are not needed. Again, fines were a means of suppression and control and coercion. That doesn't exist in the new reality. Everyone has the morals and ethics contained within what they are to know what is right or wrong. And when it comes down to simplified law, there is one law upon the planet, and that is to not physically harm another. That's how simple law is. And each one that is a human soul and that is humane does not do that, will not do that. And the old system was created to make criminals out of ones as well, by controlling and stressing them, putting them in a situation where they had to fight to survive. And in that survival state, it created criminals. But where everyone has money and they do not need to fight to survive, there are no criminals. You just erased instantly most of the world crime. Permits, fees, insurance, license. That's what you have now. GPS, the new world, non-existent. You don't need them. They're not required. Restrictive trade you have now. It's free trade worldwide, everyone working together, and products, goods and services are allocated upon the planet with everyone working together where they need to go. You know, with sharing some produce from another country, seasonal produce, it does become important. But with this, what I also need to say is that because of recent technology and the planet's environment being adjusted for this divine time, which is opening a lot more of the north and extending the growing seasons in Canada, in the North, Canada, and Russia, you are opening up such a large area where you can begin to grow produce that you couldn't grow before naturally, meaning in a natural environment, but also with the greenhouse technologies for growing foods that ones need. You can, at this point in time, actually grow, let's say in the Antarctic with greenhouses. The technology is already here to grow in any type of environment. So this also is very important to know, that ones then do not become dependent upon another area or region like it was before. And this dependency with countries was there by the old regime as another means of separation and control over one. So you need to know also with the new world that there are no countries, there are no borders, that there is free movement and natural migration in this new world as well, so that ones are not limited with it. So right now, many global currencies and exchanges, there's only the one people's money here in the future, the one method of exchange, the one people's lawful dollar, just as a monetary tool to just keep advancing us forward. So it's simple. It's the same currency worldwide that the people have. And yeah, you have so many derivatives of assets that are supposed to substantiate currencies. Again, none of that is needed. You are the value. We are the value. You don't need gold to dictate what you are worth or what your wealth is. That is primitive. It is nonsensical. You are the absolute intrinsic wealth. You don't need gold to say what you're worth. You don't need precious metals. You don't need someone else. You are the absolute intrinsic value. We are. And when you combine that all together in the majority voice, this is what we are, what you are. You are free. You are prosperous. You are harmonious. You are loving and compassionate. Yeah, so 25 children spending many years in schools? No, not with GPMS. The children are not required to go to schools, meaning this is the choice of the parents in the early years, how they wish to present to the children what they like to do, what are their interests. So these children are not conditioned and indoctrinated again into 20 years of schooling, which was conditioning and being formatted and conformed into being part of a society that's no longer going to be there. GPMS is the new free society where you don't have all of these restrictions, and children do not need to learn things that they do not wish to do. So they have that full choice. Restriction of number of children parents can have. There is no restriction. Who can dictate that, really? No law can do that. So families in the very near future will have as many children as they wish to have, and it's beautiful to have those children, of course, the new souls. Okay, so right now, children's voice under 18 mostly not heard in the world because of voting. So worldwide, usually the child has to be over 18 before they're allowed to vote in any of the governments or what have you. GPMS recognizes their voting ability, their choice, when they are 1 second old. And they have every right now to have their vote counted and their voice heard in GPMS, because not only is this their future reality where they are totally safe and free, it also frees them now. It has to be done now, no hesitation. This, what we are creating with GPMS, man, woman, and child, all around the world, all included, is the new reality. And the children are an important, equal part of this new reality. This is their liberation. They are the children to carry on the flourishing generations, not restricted and held back by the old way it was and the way that you see outside today, forced to wear masks, go to school, stand in corners. No more of that. It's gone. It's going. Yeah, degrees and diplomas not required in the future. Senior citizen, social assistance, disability pensions. This is what you have now. And, you know, if I use Canada as an example, the senior citizens checks they get there is like maybe a couple thousand Canadian dollars a month, which is an absolute insult. But with GPMS, they get the 12,000 inception and the same as everyone else going forward. So they are free, and they are no longer kept in stress and in sickness. They are free. And anyone with disabilities now, you know, you have everything that you need. You have money. You don't need to pinch and save for health care. It's all free. Whatever you will need with this, you are fully taken care of. So all of the doctors and nurses, if you will, in the new reality, they are with GPMS, they are the compassionate ones that are there to assist the people. Their focus is on assisting you. Their focus is not on making money, getting one in the door and out quickly. Their focus is on assisting and getting to the cause of the problem instead of using medications and pills just to limit the symptoms. No, it's all of your health care very quickly transitions into the future, and many of you already can see the homeopathic, naturopathic roots and remedies are already coming back. They are getting much wider with all of your new healing modalities and technologies, and working with energy, Tesla technology. So you're seeing so many of the new technologies surfacing and expanding, which are natural and based on actual health enhancement, and not by putting a lot of toxins into your physical vessel, like chemical drugs, synthetic drugs that are foreign to the body, and the body cannot break these down. So we have the more humane, natural methods also with GPMS, which are fully supported. Any of the homeopathics, naturopathics, all of the natural practices, all of these, let's say what you may call businesses now, they're no longer a business, they are a contribution, and they're fully funded, whatever is required to healthily and naturally assist those that may require assistance. But with this again, see, I need to say what Father said to me a few years ago, and he said, Rick, if you keep trying to assist ones individually, you'll be billions of years. So we got to do the one thing that heals everyone instantly. And so the most common factor that what made everyone sick is stress and enslavement. So the GPMS, what it does, it takes all of that stress away and gives you the freedom. Then humanity heals instantly, billions all at once. So the other way of one's thinking that each human needs to be healed before we can go in this new reality, that is a limited belief, and it would keep you stagnant for billions of years. So the one solution, the one ultimate solution, again, is GPMS, where it takes all of that stress off of ones. And everyone knows, for the most part, that I believe that needs to know, that stress is the number one cause of dis-ease and sickness. So again, once that stress is eliminated, these ones are free to recover rapidly, and we do it worldwide all at once. So we do the one thing that fixes everything, and that is GPMS. And it's again, it's why it's so important, it's so special, and it is the full deliverance. Okay, let me scroll a little bit more. Yeah, healthcare expenses, everything free worldwide. With that, no one needs to pay for healthcare. Yeah, let's see, it costs to live. There is no cost to live with GPMS. It's fully funded for you to thrive. Restrictive travel now, inalienable right to travel freely upon the planet and live. Now there is respect of, let's say, genuine people's lands, indigenous lands. These are rightfully theirs, but let's say there's agreements that will be mutually respected among individuals with that. But all of the crowned land, that land was taken not lawfully, so this is all shared and restored to the people worldwide. And of course, there's no borders or any countries in the future as well, so you don't need customs officers, you don't need border patrol, you don't need any of that. Everything is open and free. Stringent and restrictive laws and regulations you have now, none of that. It's very simple. As I said before, the new simplified laws, you have your own code of ethics and moral conduct, and you do not need it written what to do and what to be. The reason you needed a lot of this written is because the society in the past was constructed to create criminals because of the stress factor. Now remember, again, all of that stress factor is alleviated and there is no reason for crime, so you do not need all of those restrictive rules and regulation. And of course, you cannot, nothing, any lawful system is not lawful if it's able to be contravened, if it's unbiased. And this is what has occurred with all of what they call the legal systems upon the planet, including international law. It has all been contravened to a degree that it contradicts itself and that it's biased. And one of the main things, when they grant impunity with that, law cannot be law if there is no place to put accountability. So what they have done is they destructed their own legal system. It's null and void, and it does not comply to any that does not support it. It's that simple. It's on its way out the door. So having said this paves the way for the simplified divine law, which is contained within the GPMS with all your God-given rights, all of your unalienable rights. Divorce courts, you have them now, they're not required in the future, and again, no one needs a piece of paper to say they're married or when they get divorced, and no one decides what they got to if they got to continue to pay for children, all of the ridiculous shenanigans of a divorce court. That is also eliminated. If there is to be any separation with a relationship in the future, the ones just part with, they have full funding, so there is no reason for animosity or to fight about things because everything is more or less free and they're fully funded in the future. So it is amicable departure if ones must separate, and nothing controls them on those choices. And we need to look at divorce courts and marriage. That was again all a thing to create disharmony, and the darkness within their law courts, they loved nothing better than creating that animosity, because when ones would generate this negative fear-based energy, it's what they thrived off of it. And you know, one of the old sayings that in any divorce the winners were always the lawyers, walking away with most of this couple's money, laughing and smiling, and also, you know, with it one partner then would be subjugated to a lengthy sentence of alimony, if you will, which was a prison, and making that one pay this one. And just absolutely sick and preposterous. But no more of that in the future, because everyone has their own money, including the children. So there's no expectancy from anyone else. Utility bills you have now, all utilities are free in the future, for we own all of the entire infrastructure upon the planet, and you don't need to pay yourself. So all utilities are fully funded upon inception to what they may need to continue. So no one needs to pay for any utilities, lights, hot water, energy bills, none of that. It's all free. The price inflation. So you have inflation now, as you're seeing. A prime example is some more of the oppression, suppression by the governments at raising the prices of fuel, you know, to take more money out of your pocket in an attempt to control you more, to silence you. But with GPMS, all prices, the price indexes worldwide are frozen, just pre the rollout. And then what occurs after that, the rapid deflation I mentioned earlier with all pricing. So what we do is, prior to inception of GPMS, and perhaps if it needs to be a few months before that, we freeze all of the price index. And one of the reasons also is because ones do not want to be taken advantage in a nefarious way of GPMS, what's coming. So everything is frozen, that they don't try to be millionaires and then transition it into the new system. That is deceptive, but to put in an extra measure so that price indexing does not get out of control, we freeze it just prior so that it cannot raise, like the governments, you know, are attempting to do now. Okay, what you have now upon the planet, many beliefs and religions. In GPMS, it's the individual's choice, whatever you wish to believe. There is no discrimination with it. We are all coming together with the one common goal worldwide, and belief in religion is not part of this. All of your cultures and all of that is with you. It's what you wish to do in your area, and it doesn't have a part. No one needs to say anything about that. There is no discrimination. Your beliefs are beautiful. We're just coming together to free all of the religions and all of the beliefs by just giving your full freedoms, whatever you wish to have, and also your full monetary comfort. And there is no discrimination with GPMS. It is the unity worldwide of all of the peoples, all of the beliefs, all of the religions coming together with the one common goal to put humanity into the humane environment and out of the insane, inhumane, savage environment. So you can actually say humanity now is advancing out of this primitive state into the new advanced consciousness state and existence where you are actually free and abundant. So in the past, improper waste management and garbage disposal, very quickly the planet is cleaned up. Full effort is put in to clean everything upon the planet. There's also new technologies when we get to the pollution that cleans it up as well. And with this, we also, what's occurring, as you can see in the skies, your skies are becoming clearer and clearer because there is an added energetic element that is coming in from another supernatural in the least source to guarantee this. And you can see the air quality will be getting better. Yes, there's been some things like sandstorms and what have you, but these are only little trivial things that very quickly are cleaned up as the people rise into their full power. So what you have now, individual country government voting. the best thing that works with GPMS in the future, if there is any important worldwide community decision, it would be done on a consensus referendum basis. So you really don't need to continuously vote because you have everyone working in harmony. Yes, you'll have ones come together to make decisions, but all the decisions are harmonious with going forward. So it, it's not like with government policy to create complexity with the intent to suppress, rule, and control. So this is different. So voting, you really don't need it. You can have some sort of a referendum if you wish, but you will not need it because everyone is oriented with the full harmony and taking humanity forward. So anyone that has taken an administrative position, they want the same things that all the people does. So it's all resonant with everyone, which is different than what you have today with governments and politicians. So just going down, looking a little bit more. What you have now is global competition. There is no competition in GPMS. It's worldwide sharing. What you have now is many different banks. What we'll have with GPMS is a couple, I would not even really need to call them banks, but what we will have is distribution centers, if you will, for the money for each individuals. And the most simplest way, as I see right now, is just to have a card. All of the logistics for distributing the money is already in place, the financial network. Very simply, we just tap into it and have temporary cards for each one to access your funds while you are doing transactions in the transitioning phase. In areas where there is, let's say, limited internet, and what will occur with that is that you've got such a workforce that is no longer needed in the financial sector. So you'll have volunteers, if you will, going into these secluded areas and asking perhaps a village in Brazil if there's something they need, and then this one will make the contacts to ensure they have everything. So worldwide, everyone will be fully accommodated with it, and we have all of the solutions in GPMS, as you're saying, and it's all contained within the voice, how to do everything instantly and very quickly. Charities you have now, they're not required in the future. Tension and fighting between countries and governments, what you have now, there's nothing to fight about. There is no lack. There's only people in harmony and peace, and there is no reason to fight for anything. Huge militaries and weapons, there's no militaries or weapons of war coming with GPMS. There is not needed. When there is no hostility and no animosity, everyone is working together with the one common goal. As I said before, 99% of the people upon the planet only want peace, love, and harmony and abundance. They don't want war, and they don't want to fight. When there's nothing to fight for, there is no war. So when everyone has everything, including financial freedom and all the rights, there's nothing left to fight for. So you don't need all these militaries. And having said that, there's a lot of great metal in the worldwide militaries that can be melted down and put to better use at building robotics in the manufacturing sector, if you will, to transition humanity forward. GMO foods you have now, they are not life force. So in the future, in the GPMS, and none of that is supported. It's organic, and the heirloom seeds are ancient, unmodified seeds that are not pure and natural. So these are also are being replenished, and they have been. And to add, there is more than one seed vault around the planet that has collected the old ancient pure seeds. So that has already been prepared. But also what has emerged over the last decade upon the planet is that more of the heirloom seeds had begun to be grown by individuals, and that has trickled out as well. So the GMO food, it has no life force, it has no substance, and it is not to advance humanity forward. So it's very rapidly phased out. Okay, number 55. It says right now, what you have now, number 55, it says misery for many upon the planet. With GPMS, it's happiness for all. Number 56 says what you have now upon the planet is lack. With GPMS, it's abundance for all. So you can look at that. I went through our comparison page, and I went over things pretty much in detail, and I extrapolated or expanded upon this much more to give you a general idea what each one of you are actually voting for when you put your vote, your consent, your agreement on GPMS to build this voice. And having said this, again, the quicker we get this majority voice created worldwide, the quicker everyone is enjoying this beautiful reality that I just spoke about. But there's so many more attributes. So it makes perfect sense for everyone to understand exactly what GPMS is. It is your heaven on earth scenario that you are choosing now. You're putting your name there. You're signing up for it, if you will. And having said that, you're not actually signing a signature. You can go in and just draw a heart as your signature, but you need to make an energetic indention, an imprint onto GPMS, because GPMS is the vehicle that makes it all happen for you. So if you don't choose it, and if the majority of the world doesn't choose it, it never gets done. So your chance at heaven is right here now, and heaven on earth. And it's most wise, it's most logical, it's most common sense, it is most heartfelt that this is the best choice to make right now for this ultimate solution. So no one should be hesitating. Everyone put your children voice, add their voice in here on the individual consents as well. It's for all of the children of the world. It's for you. It's for everyone that wants peace, harmony, abundance, freedom, love, and all of the good things and happiness. So don't hesitate. We need to create this voice now. The voice needs to be created to create the reality. Without the voice and one's wanting this, it doesn't get created. So share this with worldwide with all of your family and friends. If they're open to it, keep spreading the word, spread the website so ones can vote. each one of you that's contained within this voice, if you keep sharing it out to everyone that you know, very quickly it goes viral and we get this done very quickly. And having said that, believe me that yes, we have the guardians, the world leaders, to take this to full fruition very simply and to get it done. And as I said before, this is not an illusion, it's not delusional thinking, it's not fantasy, it is not a false hope, it is the reality. This gets it done, and you can watch it grow every day with the votes as the counter keeps counting the votes towards your freedom. So when you watch the death clock, perhaps some of you in the past, it kept taking you boom, boom, boom into doom, while GPMS is taking you to the full freedom. So get on board now. Don't hesitate. And as you can see, it's the most logical sense. It doesn't matter if you're making, let's say you're making a couple $100,000 a year. You say, this guy, I don't need to listen to him or to GPMS. I got enough money. I'm having a good life. Well, let me tell you something. If you're one of those, that in the blink of an eye, where is your money at? Your money's in a digital account on the internet. Who controls the internet at this time? Who controls your digital account where your money is at? That's the government, and that is the elites, and that is the bank. And you know what? In the blink of an eye, they could shut that all down, and when your account come back up, you could have zero in it. Then what are you going to do? You'll see then very clearly how vulnerable you actually are. And this also indicates why it's so important for the people to take ownership of the entire internet and financial infrastructure worldwide. Then you are secured, because at this time, anyone upon the planet knows what is occurring in different countries. I'll mention Denmark here. I'll mention the G7 countries, which includes Canada, the US, with your bank accounts and how much they're actually controlling you. You don't have time. This is why I say, do not hesitate. Get with GPMS now, and the people does it. You secure your freedom by doing it. By hesitating, you are not. You are part of the old, and in the blink of an eye, you might have $1 million in the bank. Honestly, it can go to zilch, to zero, in the blink of an eye, because you don't have control of it. With GPMS, we have control of everything, and that doesn't occur. So do as you wish, and it's already been happening, what I spoke about, with ones seeing how vulnerable they are. Let's take Cyprus, for example, when you had the bank run there several years ago. It showed you with ones trying to get money out of their accounts, what they actually had, what the banks kept. It's written in all of your bail-in procedures. That's written when you open a bank account that tells you that, they tell you that your money is guaranteed up to perhaps 100,000. Yet there's also a provision and stipulation that is in there that if it is warranted by the government and if they feel the need to, they can take all of that money. So you need to know what you actually signed up for when you have a bank account. And also with that bank account, what you need to know is that you don't own it. The bank owns it as well, so they have the say. So you might be laughing, you've got a couple $100,000 in the bank. That's only an illusion. You don't own that unless it's out in physical cash in your hand. Then yeah, you do own it. But the way it is now, with all the digital money worldwide, if the government's all got together and flipped a switch, you got nothing. Then what are you going to do? So anyways, that is great. I love you all sovereign groups, all autonomous groups, all spiritual leaders, all ascended masters. This is the time for harmony. All of humanity worldwide. It's the time for harmony and unity and prosperity to get this done all together. It doesn't get done by a few. It takes the all, and you got to make the choice today. And you don't have time to hesitate. The last 2 years has shown you more than enough that you've got to be proactive. You've got to be active. You cannot remain in complacency, sitting, thinking, and hoping it's going to be better. You've got to play the active role in it for yourself and for your children and for your families. You need to know that now is the time not to hesitate to become a part. So with that, unity, victory, kisses, winks from the big guy, love and light, and much gratitude, and we go forward. Have a beautiful morning, day, night, wherever you may be on this beautiful planet, and know that you are in the most glorious, auspicious times. Some of you may not know it yet, but you'll reflect back on this and say, wow, yes, we are. Love and light. Have a great one.